Hi, and welcome to the Crit Hit Wild podcast, where we cover all things Marvel Crisis Protocol, and we cover a new character every week. This week, we're doing a new Captain America, and I'm your host, Fred.
I'm Brad.
Brandon.
And I'm Steven.
And we've got Brandon back, y'all. We are changing the day that we are regularly doing our record, and hopefully it's gonna work better for all of us. And we will have Brandon back. So, new episodes are gonna start dropping on Monday instead of, I guess they were dropping on Friday.
Yes.
Yeah. So this one's coming out a little late, but hopefully we're gonna change our schedule to releases on Monday. And boy howdy, do we have a lot to talk about today. On August 2nd, AMG did their big information dump. And there's a lot to cover. First off, they are going to come out with a new starter pack containing brand new versions of a bunch of the models from the original starter pack. Is it all of the new models? All of the models from the starter pack?
Yes. It's the same 10 characters plus a new Winter Soldier.
Yes. So we will have a lot to cover coming out here in the near future. And today we're going to focus on the new Captain America. So it seems like a pretty good place to start. But before we go real in depth on all the new stuff that came out, what should we start with all the new stuff?
Or we can start wherever you want, Fred.
Okay, all right. Well, let's cover. I feel like I have a whole pie in front of me, and I don't know where to start chewing. Let's start with the concept of a new form of tournament play.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So for the listeners, I'm the only one that watched the video on the podcast. And I told the rest, because nobody was talking about the new format, and I told the rest of these guys not to look into it, so we could do this live. So here is the new official format for tournaments. Are you guys ready?
Maybe.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, you have a limited pool of characters. For the first go round, it's going to be Avengers, X-Men, Cabal, Brotherhood, and a few other things. And you're only allowed to make lists with the models they tell you.
Wait. Oh, really?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
The next part is it will take place over multiple days, and they're gonna make cuts each day, and whatever models you play on the first day, you cannot play in your lists in the second and third day.
Oh my goodness.
So every model you played, all 10 models you play the first day, you can never play again in the tournament. So you have to have a different list every day.
That's crazy.
And then whoever wins, the whole thing wins it.
That is pretty restrictive. Also, it requires multiple days of tournament.
And that's the key there, Fred.
Yeah. So obviously we're not going to be adopting this for our tournaments.
No, and I don't think anyone is. I think that this will be something that AMG uses and nobody else uses.
Okay.
the first AMG run tournament like this is going to be at Adepticon. And I can see like the maybe doing a TTS league or something that uses this, but
Yeah, I could see this being
like as a side thing. I do not think this is going to be anyone's main format going forward.
Okay. Okay. That seems kind of wild. That seems wild to have us expect multiple days of play. I suppose this is simply the official tournaments that are like this is your LVOs, your
I don't think
the ones
LVO
that
is
are
going to
real.
use it. I think literally if it's run by AMG, it will be like this. And if it's not run by the AMG people, it will not be like this.
Okay. Okay. I could see this being a fun way to do things, to a fun way to limit how you use the characters that you have. But I could also see it being very frustrating.
Yeah, the fun thing is probably the key there, Fred. Nobody wants this to be the main way to play Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay then. I guess that is the new tournament system. There are just too many tactics cards for us to cover all at once, so we're just gonna cover the ones that are associated with characters as we do them. But let's talk real quick about just a general trend in the characters that are that they've released the information for. Namely, that it seems like a lot of them have increased in their threat.
Oh, but
Except for
hold on. Can we circle back to the tactics cards? Because there is
oh,
an overall theme to the cards as well.
oh, okay, okay. All right, yeah. Let's circle back to the tactics cards. What is that theme that you have noticed?
Almost all of them are character specific, but also use the alias.
Oh, yes, so that you can use them for multiple versions of the character.
But you can only use them with the character. There is one Avengers card that you can use with Avengers in general. There is one generic card that out of the ones that are spoiled so far. And then every other card requires specific characters.
It's been mostly like that since the in recent times. They've had a lot of just character specific cards.
The unrestricted card, the like general card, I just want to talk about it real quick because it's getting a lot of talk.
What is it called?
It's called Joint Effort.
Joint Effort.
It's unaffiliated active. During an allied character's activation, it may spend 3 power to play this card. During the next attack made by the character that played this card, this activation, it gains 2 dice for each of its attacks for each other allied character within range 2 of the target character.
Huh. Okay.
People are pointing out that cards like this is the reason why they stopped making cards like this.
Right, because it seems really powerful.
It is.
It seems like it could be for each one within range 2. You could add, if you position yourself correctly, you could add like 10 dice to a die roll.
Well, that's if you go with a wide team, right?
Yeah.
So
Steven,
that's
you probably come across this eventually, but people pointed out how good this is with the card beam that Doctor Strange has.
Oh,
because it's
boy,
all
you have to have
all the attacks, and you already have to have 2 allies there anyway.
Well, is it 2 allies within range of the attacking character, or the character being attacked?
I think with joint effort. I think with joint effort, it's of the target character. Okay, so that would be the attacking. During the next attack
Each
made by
other
a character.
ally character.
No,
Of
I
the
think
target
that it's
character.
the target character.
You're right.
So, so that
It-
would be the person being attacked.
It makes it a
Correct.
little harder to do that, but if everyone's jumbled up on an E, it would still be really good.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking of your wide X-Men squads that you run, and then you have like 4 people around somebody, and then you go off with X-23 or something like that.
Oh, that's the dream.
You know what this is? This is a Hulk killer. Because
It's
Hulk likes to get right up in the mess, and if Hulk is in the mess and someone uses this to attack Hulk, it could be a really explosive attack.
well, this is an equalizer for small teams. So I would have to say those people that did the Doctor Strange thing might have been overlooking that one part about being around the target character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does make it a little bit harder.
Because who wants to get that close to Malekith, right? Or who wants to get that close to Hulk?
I mean, in the case of Hulk, you may not have a choice. Hulk has probably jumped right into the middle of your army.
Well, you know what this also does. Okay, so if you have a white team, let's say you have 6 and you're playing on 18, right? And you have a Hulk across the table from you, or a Malekith, so on and so forth. What this effectively does is that person over there has to think about that card in your hand for the fact that, hey, if I go through all 3 of my activations, or 2 if they have that, or however many, right? But a low number, you're going to have 3 people left, okay, who can surround that person, and then that last person can play that card. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. This is a wide game, a helping card. This card helps the wide game and not the tall game.
Web Warriors would love this.
Yeah, they would.
Because they can pull somebody off a point, have them surrounded by people, and then Venom goes off, right?
Get them all webbed up, then suddenly hit them with this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
this is a definitely wide team tactic card.
Yeah. Okay then. So I to the broader point I think that Brad was making is that this is. Do you think that this is already a restricted card, or do you think that this?
I think it will probably end up on the restricted list pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean it's really powerful. It seems very strong.
It reminds me a lot of Bitter Rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I believe it. I believe it would go that way. Also, not to back up too far, but you guys were talking about the tournament format, and I had to slip out just a little bit, so I apologize. The one thing I will say about the format that AMG is proposing is that I will get to play with more of my models.
That's true.
Okay.
I am kind of liking the idea of bringing like 3 lists of worth of or bringing 30 models to a table. That's kind of cool.
Because how in our collections, how much do we have, and we just don't play, right?
Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, just a little aside. Thank you.
That's all right. Okay, so tactics cards wise, is there any other point that we as a group want to talk about? I'm gonna take silence as a statement of no.
We're stunned. Well, we
Okay.
haven't.
We haven't talked about it in the last couple minutes. I don't know anything about it. I have not seen any of the characters, any of the tactics cards. I didn't read anything. So
Oh,
I
boy,
am
this is
literally absolutely blind. I think joint effort is going to be restricted. I think it'll be restricted really quick. I think the thing you didn't think of, that we didn't mention is how good this is in like Guardians of the Galaxy. When you have someone like where you have someone like Rocket who can just be completely away from everything, and then while you're in a group mess, he can just shoot in with all his power, and like he can't spend power, so he's just gonna have a pile of power on him. Characters like Winter Soldier and like your range 5 shooters who don't really have to be near anyone, and then like you have the rest of your fight going on and can then just kind of power in super attacks for next to nothing.
Yeah. So, like, as if the Guardians of the Galaxy needed more fun toys to play with.
I think the problem is this card makes all the affiliations that are really, really good right now better, and I think that's problematic. Like some of the top affiliations, like X-Men, get better with this. Guardians get really good with this. Like, not that they needed anything else to make them better. It's just like, yeah, because this doesn't really affect those taller lists. Like, because you don't have a lot of models, you're not going to be playing a ton of models that can punch things in the face.
You know who I just thought of got like really scary with this? Wakanda with Killmonger.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Or
Because if you
Criminal
have Black,
Syndicate with Killmonger.
well, I'm talking about like Jabari Chieftain going off, and then Killmonger hits this, and Black Panther and M'Baku are around the thing he wants to take out. Oh my God, this is just say goodbye to whatever you had there.
He is gonna usurp that throne.
This is unfortunately a like 3 power to just take a character off the board, which I did not expect them to want something like that to exist anymore, because they've kind of got rid of all of those effects. So
Well,
Yeah.
this card is kind of odd to me that it exists.
I think this card requires quite a bit of setup, which makes it less of a. But your point is still valid. Your point is still absolutely valid.
Well, I mean,
Right.
think about it. It's really good in like you have affiliations like Midnight Suns too that this is super good in, because you can spend a power bump towards stuff. You have placements on attacks. Like I don't think it requires a whole lot of. I think it requires a lot less setup than they think, especially since Demons Downtown is still one of the most played secures in the game.
Yeah. Yep. I think you're right. So this is a this card is going to be a problem.
Yeah, just a little bit. I think. I'm sure we can go through every fashion and every affiliation and find out where it's going to be good. So
I don't think it's going to be bad anywhere. Yeah, I think it's anything that everyone's going to want is never a good thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's usually bad for the game if it's just great and everything, because some people are going to be able to use it better than others.
This is the new first aid kit.
What's that, Fred?
You mean med
Good
pack?
question. Good question. Oh, med pack. Whatever. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about the. So it seems that these characters, while it is the same characters, quite a few of them have increased in threat. Specifically, there are no 2-threat models in this box.
There are 2 3 threats, 2 5 threats, and the rest are 4.
Yeah. So they are either moving away from including 2 threats, but I mean, I understand why you would do that. The 2 threats tend to hit better than they are worth. They tend to be very good.
I have a theory.
Okay. Go for it.
We'll never see another 2 threat.
I think you're right.
Do you want to know why I think your theory is correct, Brad?
Why?
Because grunts exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a 2-threat in over a year, so like I don't see it happening anytime soon either.
Honey Badger was the last one.
Yeah, Honey Badger.
I don't think it'll happen. I've thought it for a while. This just kind of confirmed it. Like, I don't know how I feel about everything being a 4-threat. I don't get that. I don't get where that's really
They're slowing the game down, Brandon.
The game wasn't really fast.
It ends in turn 3 with you.
Yeah, but that's just I play all 4 threats, so that doesn't really do anything.
No, but
here's what I think is going on with why we're getting so many 4 threats. They did a really good job of designing 3 threats, and we got a bunch of good 3 threats. and we had no good 4 threats. And now they're trying to even out that power so that there are good 3 and 4 threat options. And
I
then,
mean, that is a distinct possibility.
and
I
once
think
they
that
feel
that's-
like those 2 categories are more balanced, they'll probably put more. Our releases will probably be more balanced.
Well, I'm just saying they're trying to slow the game down because you'll have one less person to hold something and one less person to stand by something. So, that slows it down by 2 scores a turn. But to back up on Brad's comment about that, they will not release another 2 threat ever. I believe in their format for their tournaments that AMG is doing, you will not see a 2 threat that you were allowed to take.
Wait, are you saying they're just gonna make 2 threats not tournament?
In the
viable?
rotation for AMG, I believe you will never see a 2 threat.
Yeah, their format that no one else is going to use, Fred.
Okay. Okay. Do you think that just because the 2s are so much, you get so much bang for so little buck?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, Fred, who are you taking, Rocket and Groot or Cable?
I mean, Rocket and Groot.
Exactly, right?
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to state it for saying the part out loud.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with your statement. I think that it is correct. I'm just a little hung up on the idea of just not being allowed to take 2s at that particular tournament setting.
Well, they want to kind of restrict you, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
It'll just be harder to get to your point levels that you have to get to.
well, you have to make
I
concessions.
Yeah, I imagine that. Yeah, you're right. That's part of it, is that you have to really think about what characters to bring. So, yeah.
At this point, do you guys think we have more 3 threat or 4 threat characters?
I think we have more 4 threat characters.
I still think we have more 3s.
All right, Brad.
Do you know the answer, or are you just pointing this out?
I know the answer.
I
Okay,
think we
okay.
have more 4s, but we don't have more 4s that get played.
Right, exactly.
With this core set release, there are 57 3-threat characters, and there are 58 4-threat characters.
Oh my goodness, it's so close.
So technically, I was right.
Yeah. Yes, it definitely worked. Yeah, because I was like because I do remember a time that it was very lopsided, on 3s and 4s. And if you go through, we haven't had most of these 3s came out almost a year ago, if not like within the last year we've had, I think, 4, maybe 5 3s be released. Like it's not a lot.
The last
Besides
3s were Blob and Pyro, right?
Yeah, Blob Pyro and then Zola and Strucker.
Right. Okay.
So, like, and then outside of those 4, it was like the Winter Guard release.
Whoa, really? Is that far back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was over a year ago, or
Boy.
right at a year ago.
They really just overpopulated the 3s, I think, and now they're trying to catch up with the other kind of middle ground point level.
Yeah, which again, not a like it's. I like that the fact that it's close to even brings hope. The problem is, I do think we have been getting a lot of like 5 and 6s. I don't assume that's going to end either. I think we're just going to keep getting 5s and 6s.
Yeah.
So I do have a question because I don't know the answer. Was the Ultron that was released in this set the Ultron that they spoiled
Yes.
before?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is it's the same model that was in that release a couple months ago.
Yeah, that teaser a couple months. Yeah.
So it does have drones. Grunts. It has grunt drones.
Yeah.
And Captain Marvel in this set has the transform mechanic.
Right. Which I think is a good call, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that's the better way of creating it versus the token.
The binary form token, yeah. I think that model looks really cool too. But we're not here to talk about Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm
There's some other interesting things about this core set that we can talk about in general. So there are 5 leaders in this set. 4 of them are playable with just the core set.
What is the one that's not?
The only reason you'll probably buy the box.
Doc Ock has a leadership for Spider Foes.
Oh, right.
That one's
Okay.
not playable in the core set.
Right.
We also have
The Sinister Six.
Captain America has an Avengers. Invincible Iron Man has Shield. Red Skull has Cabal. And Baron Zemo has Hydra.
Yes.
All those are playable.
Man, so this is really like a brand new. I think that this box is something that they've needed, because it was tough with the old box to say, "Hey, new player, come buy this box that has a bunch of characters that you will never use again. It has a ton of stuff that you're just not gonna use."
Mm.
Baron Zemo.
I mean, it also has Baron Zemo, who's
Before,
great. And you will
to
use.
be fair, before they corrected the characters, it was a terrible value.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because you bought the box for 2 characters, and that was Captain America, Steve Rogers, and Baron Zemo. Everything else in the box was
Doc
bad.
Ock. No, Doc Ock.
Did you buy the box for Doc Ock though?
If you were playing Spider Foes, you did. Doc Ock's a great 3-pointer in Spider Foes.
He's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but Spider Foes isn't great. Wasn't great at the time either, because that was before we got
right. That was with Bad Green Goblin too. So
yeah,
right.
So like it was kind of that weird balance, but
I think that you're correct, Brandon. And this new box is the value of it is a lot better, because I think generally all of these characters are much more playable. I mean, generally speaking, than the original box. There may be some where you'd rather take the old version, but these characters are all pretty useful.
I would say there's only 2 characters in here that aren't going to get very much play.
What? Okay. Which 2? I'm curious.
The Black Widow.
Black Widow, 100%. I agree.
And the new Winter Soldier.
What?
Okay. Just because the old Winter Soldier is still so useful.
Yes, and has Rogue Agent, and the new one doesn't.
Right. True. Absolutely.
So
true.
I think everyone else in this is going to get played somewhere.
Yes.
Do you not agree, Steven?
I'm on the Winter Soldier train like crazy.
You like Winter Soldier? The new Winter Soldier?
Oh yeah.
He's fine.
I think to Brad's point, Brad's not saying that the new one is bad. He's just saying that
the old one was
so
still very
useful.
good.
Well, I got a look at his tactic card though.
Oh, okay.
The one.
So there's a little more to the equation.
The one.
Yeah.
The one that can be played for either of them.
Oh, does it say Bucky?
It says James Bucky Barnes, so you can use the old one.
Oh boy.
No, I like this one better actually, and just preferences, because I do hate the other one. Because I've used him, and it's he got tuned way too much. So
that's a fair assessment.
You can always tell the hard tournament gamers when they were like, "Oh yeah, I have Bucky and Beta Ray Bill," and they're like Winter Guard or something like that, you know. So
Well,
I have nothing to contribute to this conversation. I'm sorry.
Well, you haven't read the cards,
I have not.
which will make it fun when we do each review and you've seen it for the first time.
I've looked at some of them, just like the arts, because I think the art on the cards are really cool.
Yeah,
I'm
the
digging
art
that.
the art is pretty good.
I think the cards look really cool, just like looking through them. So the only thing I relatively know about most of them are the pitcher and the. I see most of their defenses. The defenses seem really consistent, like across the board. A lot less twos, like or fives or anything. A lot of 4-4-3s, 4-3-4s, stuff like that.
4-4-5.
Well, let's not get too in the weeds here. It's my job to keep us from spending too much time on this box, and I'm going to move us forward. Unless there's actually, you know what? There is one thing that I want to touch on about the new box also before we move away, and that is the movement widgets are being changed very slightly.
Yeah.
There's a slight change to the movement widget, and that is that instead of having a concave base on both sides, there's a concave base only on one side.
Yeah.
And that will mean that a character could, in theory, move 1 millimeter further than otherwise.
They also mentioned that because they are rewriting the movement rules very slightly with this core set. They said,
do we know the details of what that rewrite is?
They said probably it's going to have to do with pushes and throws.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because in the case of pushes, you were supposed to use the concave
divot, yeah.
And yeah.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. And the old ones will still be 100% valid. It's just they are creating new ones.
If you want to win tournaments, you have to buy the new ones, guys. They will give you an advantage.
Not true.
They will give you an advantage, Fred.
Oh boy, the advantage will be so minor. It's so minor.
It's very small. It's equivalent to the fact that people figured out that if you place the model at the tip of the curve, you go further.
Yeah, it's that much difference.
It's
okay.
The same amount.
All right.
But we all do it, right? Like,
yeah.
Fred, I have one more mention about the box, if you don't mind.
Sure thing. Go for it.
Okay. The amount of either movement tech or displacement tech has gone up considerably with this release.
Compared to the original box?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, also keeping up with the releases that we've just had too.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It is because characters, I just went through it while you guys were talking. Characters that have both a movement tech and a displacement tech out of this box are 6. Ones that have movement tech that is just movement tech are 2, and then there's another 2 that have specifically displacement tech.
And so that brings it up to 10 out of 11 models have one or the other or both. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
That's
how many can throw size 4 characters?
Brandon, we're not in your competitive world here, okay? I mean, a size 4 doesn't do you that much better than somebody can do size 2, and you're faced down by a size 2 person.
Hey, I just need to throw Hulks, all right? I got to be prepared for Hulks. That's what I'm prepared. That's the only thing I'm prepared for. And nothing else matters. I've got to be prepared for Hulks. Otherwise, it doesn't matter. I need to prepare for Hulks.
If your answer is 3, by the way.
3?
Mm-hmm.
3 more than I thought.
all right.
It's also wait. It's also worth noting that the variance in the terrain in this box is better than the original. Like, you can bake an entire table that is good with the terrain that they gave you.
Okay, that is good to know.
Yeah.
That
Now we can move away from the box and talk about
Okay.
crisis cards. Crisis
Yeah.
cards.
Brad, since you brought it up, talk about the crisis cards.
They're finally printing the crisis cards. We got what in November? Last
Yeah,
November.
we're getting official copies.
Almost a year after they released them. They
I know.
are in a different format. They're printing them on tarot size cards and putting the maps directly on the cards.
I like that so much. For the record, I think that's such a better system than just like, yeah.
But they've said several times that these are the exact same crisis that we did get before. But going forward in the future, putting the map on the card means that they don't have to pick one of the maps they already made. They can make new maps.
That's what I was just thinking, that they could just freewheel the maps instead of having set maps for the games. Which might mean that they can just produce more crises, which I think would be a good thing. It would just make people.
I just doubt we're ever going to get the packs and packs anymore.
I wonder if Map X is going to be advantage towards the X-Men, X-Force, and Weapon X.
Well, they don't have. They're not going to letter them anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because they're just putting it right on the card.
Well, it'll just be in the form of an X, Brad, and we'll know exactly what it means.
You mean like the F one is?
Well, that's not an X. That's not an X.
That's an X.
It's kind of an X.
Actually, B is the one that's shaped like an X because X-Men are very good on both Bs.
Oh boy. Okay. All right, let's move on. All right. So, is there anything else about the news that we need to talk about?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Brad.
We got to see painted copies of all the X-Men stuff and a reminder that stuff doesn't come out until early next year. And then we got an announcement of 4 new models.
Oh.
We're getting new Spider Foes.
Yep.
It sounded like they're gonna be in a box together, which means they might have a leader, which might be Vulture.
Yeah.
But the new characters are Vulture, Shocker, Electro, and Sandman. And Sandman has 2 grunt models with him.
Yeah. That's
grunt constructs, right?
No,
is what they
grunts.
Said.
They said grunts. They said grunt constructs or something like that. And then someone asked, "Did you mean constructs or grunts?" And they replied, "We meant grunts."
Okay. That'll be interesting to see. You never take them against Black Order. Never ever.
Well, unless they're immune to damage, because they're made of sand.
Oh man.
Maybe physical damage, yeah.
But I assume that even if they're immune, like there's a good chance that they just disappear and come back. So like they just immediately come back, which is even worse against Black Order.
Yeah. I don't know. It just depends on what the rules are. They will have to have a rule that states that you can have 2 of them out because the base grunt rules say that you can't.
Well, maybe you can't. Maybe in this
maybe
case,
you can't.
Like they change. Maybe it's one grunt that can change form in some way.
Maybe.
Well, maybe one goes away and the other comes in.
Maybe.
Right.
I bet you can have 2 out though.
Yeah. Well, we can sit and speculate. Okay. Brad, is there any other news? I don't think there is. I think that's
I don't think there is.
I think
Spider Foes also coming in a pack. Not the one we just talked about, but
like
Goblin.
An affiliation
Oh
pack.
yeah, Goblin, Doc Ock,
Lizard Craven.
Okay, that's who I thought, but I wasn't sure. And the original core box is going away, but you will be able to get the Avengers part of that as an affiliation pack and the Cabal part of that as an affiliations pack.
Right. Probably a good call. I think that's a good decision.
Is Winter Soldier going to be in both of them?
Winter Soldier's not in the core.
The original core.
The original core.
Oh,
The original core.
I thought you meant this core. I'm sorry.
No. The original core. And then Doc Ock's obviously going to be in the Spire Foes one.
It'll make it so you only have to spend like $80 to get Baron Zemo, instead of the $150 for the original core box.
Now
The
here's
original core box is $100. The affiliation pack should be $60.
Okay, that's actually a lot better.
Here's another thing about the Zemos. Like, you, with the new Zemo coming out, you don't need the old Zemo.
I mean, okay. I don't think that that's accurate.
You don't need the old Zemo. You don't need.
Okay, let's move on. Let's just move on before we have a fight. All right. So Brad, Steven, and I went to Fabricator's Forge on. Was it the 2nd? Was it August 2nd?
29th.
Oh, July 29th.
August 2nd was a Wednesday. That's when the announcement was made.
Yeah, I'm a mess. It's been a long week. And we played in a tournament there, and we had a blast. It was run by Bryce. I think that there were 14 people present, and we went 4 rounds. It was a real good tournament, and our own Brad got 2nd place.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Brad.
I just want to thank Steven and Andrew Savage, because I was in like 4th place, and then they won their games, and I shot up to 2nd.
Yes.
We were sandbagging just to improve your score.
Yes. Well, okay. So in my tournament, in the people that I played, I started off playing Andrew Savage, which is a real tough place to start. He's a real good player, and he was playing a Red Skull Cabal list which included Mr. Sinister, and he started a trend that happened to me multiple times this tournament, where he successfully got off his cloning banks and brought in Winter Soldier and really wrecked my house. He really destroyed me. It was a pretty one-sided game. I was playing my Midnight Suns, I should state. My 2nd game I played against Nick, and he was playing Convocation. And this is, spoiler alert, the only game that I won. And I won because of the Immortal Hulk. We actually both had Hulks, and Hulk 1 versus Hulk 2 really came down just to dice, where his dice were not as good with Hulk and mine were excellent. So that's Hulk 2 beat Hulk 1 in this matchup. My 3rd game was against Bryce. It was the first game I played against Bryce in years, and it was a great game, and he absolutely trounced me. He was playing Sam Captain America, and he just was everywhere all the time, and I could not keep up. I could not keep up with him on attrition. And then my 4th game was against a certain gentleman named Steven, who's here on this podcast.
Not me.
Also managed to get off a Mr. Sinister cloning banks against me. And one, you killed Hulk. Like, you killed the Immortal Hulk, which is an impressive feat in and of itself. But also, you just basically outplayed me the entire game. So, congratulations, Steven.
Well, you were very kind on that. So
I went 1-3. Who wants to speak next about their experience at the tournament?
Steven.
Steven.
I showed up late. I almost didn't make the tournament.
I was close to calling you on Discord to make sure that you were okay. I was worried you'd had a car accident or something.
Well, I appreciate that, Fred. My first game was against a new player called Chad. And of course, me coming in late trying to rush, being disheveled. Thank you, Fred, for the pizza, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome.
Shout out
also,
to
before, sorry, thank you, Andrew, for the pizza. I should state,
yes,
because he
yeah.
bought pizza for everybody. That was very cool of him.
But so I was playing Red Skull Cabal because I couldn't make up my mind what to play, so I wanted to sandbag a little bit, I guess. So ended up playing Chad. He was playing a Inhumans, by the way, led by Black Bolt, Medusa, Lockjaw, Bullseye, and Black Dwarf were his squad, and I took things that died. So he ended up winning that 17-12. So I went 0-1, and then next round I played Brad, and needless to say, Brad got the better of me on that round. I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah, everybody, Brad's really good at this game.
Yeah, Brad also beat me 17-12. We went 20 on that one. He went 19, and he brought a lot of people. You brought 7 people, is that correct?
We played 19. I don't think I can do 7.
No, he recorded that incorrectly because we did scrolls, so it was 20. Yeah,
it's 20. Okay, yeah, I probably brought 7 people then.
Yeah, and I brought 5, and I made a mistake by taking Doctor Strange, but Brad gave me the graces by telling me earlier he thinks I would have won that game if Mr. Sinister would have brought somebody in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he would have brought someone in the next turn when I won, and I don't think I would have recovered from that.
Yeah. So, the highlight of that game was that your Mystique went down like a sack of potatoes for some reason.
Very, very quickly.
So, and Omega Red was a nuisance to you, pulling people in and then poisoning them.
Yes.
So, let's see. My third game was against Josh. He was from Erie, Trancher. I played him before. He actually came out to our tournament here in North Olmsted at ours, and he was playing Guardians of the Galaxy, and he brought Cosmic Ghost Rider, and I was playing Red Skull Cabal again. I ended up winning this one 18-8. He brought Cosmic, Star-Lord, Rocket Groot, and Agent Venom. We were playing on 18, and my team tandem of Sinister and Enchantress, because I ran them together, they pretty much dominated one side of the board that Cosmic Ghost Rider was on, and I actually managed to kill Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Nice.
In fact, I pretty much managed to kill everything except, I think, Rocket. Yeah, Rocket was the only one left, and he was injured. It was brutal. I took Arnim Zola in this one, and Arnim Zola under Red Skull is fantastic. Getting that extra power, he gets to add extra dice to his rolls, and then he gives rerolls to everybody. So I was running him, Hood, and Red Skull in addition to the other ones. It was quite a scene. So, and then last but not least, my round 4 game was against somebody we don't know. This guy named Fred Walker. Have you heard of him?
What a weirdo. What a weird dude. I don't like that guy.
And of course, we were playing his Midnight Suns on Demons Downtown and Montesquieu Formula, so it's E all day.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Montesquieu Formula is the scenario I want, because Red Skull with books is just, they're bad because it's beam and he gets power off the beam if he does damage, and it's all over the place. But Yeah, you were running Ghost Rider and Immortal Hulk, if I remember correctly.
I was. That's correct.
Blade
I went very tall.
Blade and Black Cat too. I don't know. I got Hulk. Did I get Ghost Rider too?
No, maybe you did.
I got Cat. I know I got Cat.
Yes, you got Cat.
Yeah, and then
But you got Hulk, which was the biggest thing.
Yeah, and then I dove on Blade pretty hard too. So, yeah, there was a lot of bleeding going around.
Yeah.
But
All right. Well,
I was surprised my list stood up to that. So yeah, I got a Cosmic Ghost Rider and a Hulk. I got to get new models so I can chop off their heads and put them on little trophy cases for my apartment.
Oh boy. Okay. All right, Brad, do you want to talk about your experience at the tournament?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. First round I played Les, who was playing Guardians with Cosmic Ghost Rider, and Les ended up winning the whole thing. So he beat me. Not only did he beat me, he killed every single one of my models.
Oh no.
Yep, completely wiped me off the board.
And how was your experience with Cosmic Ghost Rider?
He was a really good counter to what I was trying to do, like a really good counter to it. And I did make a mistake early in the game that may have made it a little bit closer, but I did make that mistake, and he beat me. He probably would have won anyway, but it would have been harder for him to win if I had backed up with Angela. I made an attack with her. I did no damage, and then I had tunnel vision, and I attacked again, even though I meant to move.
Happens to us all.
Yeah, I meant to move.
Attacking's way more fun.
It is,
Yeah.
but moving her away from Cosmic Ghost Rider gives me a better chance of winning that game. Especially when she only has 1 health.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just left her there.
Was she gonna be able to move out of range?
Yeah.
It would be a long move.
She moves long. It would have been fine. Anyway, then I played Steven. Steven already talked about that game. So, third round, I played Andrew Savage. It's not the game's suddenly not loading, but there he is. We played Mutant Madman and Montesi, and I played Dr. Voodoo in this game. It's like the second time I've played him in X-Men. Dr. Voodoo did almost nothing the whole game. But everyone else was moving around so much and like really, really pushing scenario that I was able to score so much faster than him. He had an interesting list with Cassandra Nova, who did really good. But I pushed so hard into scenario. I managed to pull
Are you talking about Steven while he's in this chat, like he's not in this chat?
No, this is Savage.
It's Andrew Savage.
I was really confused for a second. I was like, this is a really weird way to have this conversation. Okay, never mind.
No. I think I had at the end of round 1, I had 2 out of 3 books and 3 out of 4 Mutant Madmen. And then the second round, I had all 3 books and 3 out of 4 Mutant Madmen.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Brad won this one 17-9.
Yeah.
So yeah, you crushed it hard on that.
Yeah.
Whereas we were 17-12, it was a lot closer.
Yeah.
So
I went real hard on scenario in it, and it worked out. And then my last round, I played Topher, who
How many
was
rounds did you play?
4.
4
It was a
rounds.
4-rounder.
This feels like the 7th round he's talked about.
No.
That's because Fred and I have talked about other rounds that we've all played each other. What are you talking about?
So he was playing Winter Guard, and we got Infinity Formula, so it was my Secure, which I think pushed it in my favor quite hard. And then dice were an issue for him this game. I was rolling really good defense dice, and he was rolling not so good attack dice. So my characters lived a lot longer than he thought they would. I also dazed someone with Dr. Voodoo on the first turn, so he had power to keep putting the token out all the time. And then he started to get tilted because of dice and maybe didn't make the best decisions at the end, but
Feels.
yeah. And I
We've all
have
been
the
there.
final score for this game is 15-11.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's because of like he had made an attack, and then the turn ended and we scored, and then he was at that point he was like, I can't win this, I just give up. So I had to record the score as it was. That's what it was. He had conceded the game.
Okay. All right. Well, that was our experience at the Fabricators Forge tournament. It was fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and I want to go again. We'll definitely have another invasion.
Yeah, it was nice seeing you guys outside of West Virginia.
What is the date of our upcoming tournament for anyone who's interested?
August 19th. Unless I know you're listening to this, you guys should come down.
Yeah, come down and kick all of our butts.
Les was mentioning coming to our tournament on September 2nd also, up here in North Olmsted.
Yeah, I think everyone's trying to get to as many tournaments as possible because Fabricators Forge is having an LVO qualifier September
24th.
23rd, 24th. 23rd, 24th. We will have a tournament the 16th, the weekend before that. So I'd encourage people to go to those tournaments. I am not playing X-Men in this month's tournament.
Gasp.
What?
Gasp.
He's playing Weapon X.
I have a special surprise that I'm doing for this tournament.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, look forward to finding out what that is after our tournament.
Is your team made up of mutants?
Yeah, tell the people you're not going to play mutants. Actually, surprise them.
I cannot say that.
Okay, well there it is. All right, let us move on from the games that we have played recently. Is there any other thing that we need to talk about before we cover our gentleman today, who is the new Captain America?
I would like to clarify that the question I asked about Cosmic Ghost Rider was just basically due to the interstellar hell cycle, and I don't know how you get away from him, I guess, is really the problem.
But then,
I mean, truthfully, you can't. You just can't.
Here's the thing, though, Brandon. If he had done that to chase her, then he would not have been able to do anything to anyone else, and would have been way out of position for at least a turn. And nobody was going to go get the extract Angela was holding either.
That's fair. I was just like, with a range 4 attack.
No, he could go get her, but he would not have been in a good position at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Captain America: The First Avenger. His name is Steve Rogers. He has a 4 physical, 4 energy, and 3 mystic defense. He has 6 stamina on his front side and 5 on his back side. He is threat 4, size 2, and he moves medium. Hey Brad, why don't you talk about his attack suite?
Of course. He has 2 physical attacks. The first one's called Shield Bounce. It's range 3, 5 dice, costs 0 power. He gains power equal to damage dealt. And it has Wild Hit Bounce. And what that does is he can make an additional Shield Bounce attack, targeting a character within 3 of the original target, ignoring any distance from him. And it cannot then bounce. So it's a free version of his old shield throw that's harder to hit the bounce on.
Yeah.
His second attack is called Brooklyn Brawler. It is range 3, 5 dice. It is 4 costs. You add the character's size to the dice rolled. It has a crit push. Push size 3 or less, away short. And it has a trigger that is Wild Hit Shield called Frontliner. After the attack is resolved, this character may make an additional Brooklyn Brawler attack without paying the power cost. The additional attack must target a different target character. This additional attack does not have the Frontliner special rule. So both of his attacks you can make twice, potentially.
Yes. Okay, Brandon, why don't you cover his affiliation bonus and his first superpower?
Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's an Avengers affiliation. Once per turn, when an allied character is attacking during the modified dice step, if there are 1 or more hit results in the attack roll, it may spend 1 power. If it does, it changes one of those results to any other result. And then he has a charge for 2 power. It's an action. This character immediately makes a move action followed by an attack action. The superpower can only be used once per turn.
And Steven, why don't you do perfect block, and he has an extra power that's only on his backside.
Right. I got them both. So
Okay.
reactive superpower, perfect block. This will cost you 2 power. When this character is targeted by an attack, it may use this superpower. Add 2 dice to this character's defense roll against that attack. So he becomes a 6, 6, 5 if he uses this superpower. And then last but not least, on his injured side, he has an innate superpower called I Can Do This All Day. When defending against attacks, this character adds blanks in its defense roll to its total successes.
Okay. So we've got another Captain America with I Can Do This All Day. Who wants to go first on talking about what he's bringing to the table? Okay, I'll go first. All right. So his shield bounce, even though it's free now, I think it's much less good than the old shield throw. Was it shield throw?
Yes. It was called shield.
Yeah.
Throw.
Now I guess that's comparing apples and oranges because this is a free attack, but I think it's not as good. I think it's demonstrably not as good.
I think it's a lot better, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
What am I missing?
Well, the knock on Captain America is that you either used him with that range 4 shield throw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you had to get him up close, and when he got up close, he died. Okay. This is a range 3, which is right in that nice sweet spot. Okay. So he can effectively do what he needs to do. And, he doesn't have bodyguards, so he's not trying to reserve his power or anything like that. He's just all in. He's like the Captain America of the movie. Okay.
Okay. I see the point. The point that you're making is that you're comparing shield bounce and shield throw isn't fair. You have to compare shield bounce with his punch.
with his strike and then
Yeah.
his other strike that he had, his spender.
Yeah. And in that regard, this is a better thing to have.
Right.
Okay.
He's slightly harder to kill too.
Yes, he is.
Because it used to be that you didn't get the extra 2 dice against Mystic, but now you can.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to be a lot stickier than the old one.
Who was
Although
already a pain in the butt to kill.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
ever recall a situation where Captain America gets up close and dies.
Yeah.
I've never experienced that.
Flips,
There's definitely always
sure.
been some. Yeah, he doesn't die once he's flipped.
He also has a charge, which is nice to have. That's just handy. But let's talk about this affiliation bonus.
Not as good as the old one.
Now, while I think the old one is great, I like this affiliation bonus a lot. I think it's really good.
It's the third best Captain America affiliation.
Sorry, say that again.
It's the third best Captain America affiliation.
I mean, you're probably correct.
But
I'm not going to disagree with that.
It is very similar to the MODOK one. It doesn't work on defense, but you can change it to any result you want.
Yeah, it helps you get those triggers that you're fishing for.
Yeah.
Like on his Brooklyn Brawler attack. If he has the capacity to make this attack twice, which would be a highly effective attack. Imagine if you've got 2 size 4s across the table from you. You could spend 4 power and theoretically make 2 9 dice attacks, one against each one of them. But you have to get a wild, a hit, and a shield. And if you're under his affiliation, you only have to get 2 of those 3. One of them being the hit.
Yeah. It also makes the bounce on shield bounce more reliable than his old shield throw.
Right.
Yep. Sure does.
I'm not sure how often you ever use the spender.
Yeah.
I would use the spender a lot during against, like Fred said, size 4 people.
Yeah. That's about the only time though.
Mm-hmm.
And then
maybe if you went against like
Spider
Foes, they're all size 3. Yeah. But with size 4, you're just worried about taking them off the table anyway. So.
Like Hulk.
Yeah, like Hulk. Like Malekith.
Yeah. So I see the points that all of you are making. And I do agree that this is probably not a good... This is the worst Captain America affiliation bonus. Because the other 2 are so exceptionally good. But I do like it. I do think it's a good affiliation bonus if you don't compare it to other Avengers affiliations.
The once per turns are always a little bit like trickier, but I think that's the way they're going. I think we're not gonna get many like the old ones where you can use it often.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I think through 4 years of playtesting and having other people, they're finally going to, rein in some things, obviously.
Yeah, less overall static things. I'm not sure if this is better than Hulkbusters.
Oh,
I don't even remember what Hulkbusters is.
Hulkbusters reduces it has static reduced damage by 1.
Collision.
It's only from collision.
Is it just collision?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah, just collision.
I retract my statement.
Okay. I was gonna say, because no one, if it were that simple, then it would be the best one.
I feel like I always just want it to be that. And
yeah,
then it never
is. What can you do?
Okay, so is there any other point that anyone would like to make about this character?
I think he's going to fight really well.
I agree.
That's what his kit does for him, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay, he has 2 tactics cards that are associated with him. One of them is for all Steve Rogers, which there are now 3 of them. And the other one is for this one in particular. So let's go over the first one, which is the one for all Steve Rogers. This one is called Battle Plan. It is an unaffiliated active tactics card. And during Steve Rogers' activation, he may spend 3 power to play this card. Steve Rogers and each allied character within range 3 of him may choose one of the following effects: remove 1 special condition, remove 1 damage, or place yourself within 1 of your current position. I think that 3 power is steep for that effect, but it is all allied characters within range 3, which could be a good chunk of your team. And being able to have that, it's a great way to get rid of stagger on people.
If you think that getting Steve Rogers and 1 other model under this effect is worth 3 power, you should play this card. And I think it is. I think that is a good enough effect. Anyone after the first ally is just bonus.
Yes.
I would do this all day to take a stagger off.
Oh yeah.
I think
absolutely clutch.
This is a really good way to see Captain America get play outside of his own affiliation.
Yeah. That's a fair assessment. Okay. And the other one is it's called Repulsor Refraction. And when it gives an attack, it's when Invincible Iron Man's activation, if it is Invincible Iron Man's activation, sorry, I'm reading too quickly, and he is within range 4 of an allied Captain America First Avenger, they may each spend 1 power to play this card, and then Invincible Iron Man makes the attack listed above, and it is a beam 4 with 5 dice. And it comes from Captain America.
And it takes an action.
It's an attack. So this is nowhere near as good. This is not as good as even oh gosh, what's it called?
Ricochet
Repulsor Blast. Ricochet Blast, that's it.
Which was the core set version of this card. The original core set version of this card.
Yeah.
So this is fine. You can play it, and it'll be good for beginners to play it. I don't think it's very good outside of that.
No.
Yeah. Well,
I like the beam.
Beam is nice.
Yeah, but the other one's a beam with rerolls.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's not a beam.
Is it not a beam?
No, it is not.
Okay. It's also. I'd rather have 7 dice than a beam 5.
Well, it depends. If you're going against X-Men who are like really, really wide and clumped up.
Well, if they've clumped up, they've done something wrong.
Well, this is not awful. It's just this is how is Ricochet Blast worded in a way that does not allow Invincible Iron Man to take it? I think it probably is.
It says Iron Man and Captain America.
Yep, so it is. So this is made so that the 2 of them can do a Ricochet Blast with the new models. It's just it's not quite as good.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not bad. It's fine.
It doesn't have to be as good because these are better models.
True. Okay.
There are too many better tactics cards that you probably don't play this, but I think it's a really good card for like core set players.
Yeah. It's a good one to have as one of the first tactics cards that you play with.
I also like the layout of active action. To where it's not going to be a secret anymore if it's an action or not. Like there's some cards that confusing.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, some cards get confusing if it's an action or not. This one's very evident that it's active action. I really like that layout.
You're right. It's nice that is clearly stated.
Yeah. And that is something they will hopefully do going forward, and I will be able to love that forever because that is 100% the way it should be.
Okay. All right. So that is everything having to do with this new Captain America. So we need to give him a letter grade. So who wants to go first? I think that it has been a while since Brandon has been able to weigh in on a character. So, Brandon, why don't you start us off with a letter grade for our good friend Steve Rogers?
Okay, I can do that. I have a feeling that I might be a lot different than some of you.
It's distinctly possible.
Yeah, I am. I think he's a C. I don't see anything special about him. I'm not with. I don't think his attacks are very good. I don't think the affiliation leadership's good enough to play over either of the other ones. Uh, I just don't see anything too special about him. He
Okay.
feels like a slightly better version of Steve Rogers.
Okay.
The is that his name, right? Steve Rogers something? Steve Rogers Captain America.
Yes.
Which one?
Steve Rogers,
No.
Captain America,
Yeah.
Steve Rogers.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the
The
card
old
Steve
one.
Rogers, the one that came out with the Human Torch.
Right.
Except for I actually think that one hits harder. So
I think he does. I think you're correct that he does hit harder. Okay. So that's a C. Brad, what are you giving him?
A B. I think
Uh,
the first one's still going to get played a lot more.
yeah. Steven, what are you giving him?
B plus.
Okay. I'm
He's,
with. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
mystic attacks do not screw him over anymore.
Right. Right. And I am going to give him a B alongside Brad. I think that I think he's really good. I think he's worth taking. He's definitely a functional model. He's not garbage. But he is going to be. I think he definitely is going to get played less than the original. Than there's too much. The terminology is rough. Than the Captain America that came in the original core box. And
I think the
that is
big
our
thing
take.
for me, I think the big thing for me is I don't want to give up the bodyguard on the backside of Captain America with the I can do this all day.
Yeah,
I don't think
it's
it's worth like losing a health and losing bodyguard is really rough for me. I think that's the biggest thing for me.
this one's definitely not. It's not even in the same role. This one is to go up and punch people. Like you play this one completely different than you play the old one.
Yeah, and then with the as deep as Avengers are, I think you have a ton of other things that want to do that a little bit better. But I don't know. I'm sure like they're all good. None of them are bad. Like we have 4 good Captain Americas.
Right, right. Okay. Well, that is our take on Captain America. Uh, I should say what's the exact wording on this one? It is
Captain America First Avenger.
First Avenger. Thank you. That is, uh, 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 Brad. Since you were just talking, why don't you tell us some comic books that you can find this Captain America in?
Okay. Got 2 recommendations today. That's pretty standard. The first one is Captain America 109 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. This is a retelling of Captain America's origin by the 2 guys that basically made Marvel what it is today. I harp on this a lot, but Stan Lee and Jack Kirby basically created all the characters you know and love in Marvel. But they did not create Captain America. But they did add him to the Avengers, and they're retelling his origin at Project Rebirth.
Okay.
The next one is called Captain America: Man Out of Time by Mark Waid and Jorge Molina. And this series takes a different view of Captain America. It focuses mostly on his culture shock that he would have experienced after being unfrozen years and years and years after, uh, and how the world has changed and stuff, and him dealing with that.
Okay, that sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
That's definitely much. That is the story that I like about Captain America, the man out of time.
I like in the movie version of Captain America that he is such a big nerd that he heard like one play in a baseball game and realized that he had already been to that game because he's that big of a nerd.
There is a lot of origin of him like that. He like fanatically studied baseball as well.
Yeah.
He's America's captain. He has to play America's sport.
Well,
Which
if
one?
no, he didn't play sports. Remember, he was that little skinny kid nobody
Yeah.
wanted, right?
Oh,
So
right.
the big thing about then was studying your books, and the pastime was baseball. So anybody who was a nerd did the baseball thing, and keeping up with batting averages and strikeouts and innings pitched and all that good stuff.
Nerd shit.
Yeah, nerd stuff.
I bet he was into math too. What a
Ugh.
Yeah.
loser.
Okay. Well, is that it for the comic book recommendations,
Yeah,
Brad?
that's it.
Okay. Brandon, can you think of an affiliation that you want to put this gentleman into?
Yeah. So it's twofold. Because where he has an affiliation leadership, I was kind of thinking of like odds and ends members of like the Avengers that he'd be like really good, like that'd be really good with them. Like Winpool and Squirrel Girl both really like this affiliation leadership.
Okay.
And then you have, I mean, obviously a bunch of them do, but those are kind of probably two lesser Avengers that probably don't get played a ton like right now, and I think they get a lot better with them. But as far as like plugging and playing him somewhere, um, it's probably gonna. What did I have? Hold on, I got a list somewhere. Let me pull it back up here. I did make a list.
I
Where
feel
is
as though he's kind of generic in a weird way, not in a negative way, but just he is big punch dude.
Yeah, and there's not. It is kind of weird because this doesn't like allow you to, but so I really like Captain America, and two of my favorite Marvel characters are Captain America and Black Panther, and I actually think this Captain America fits well with Wakanda, with the original Black Panther, just because he wants so many triggers, so being able to reroll a die does a lot. It becomes pretty easy. This character, Captain America, also doesn't use power all that often. Like he doesn't have a huge power like sink. Um, Obviously he can, but I think he's going to be able to get more power than he actively wants to spend every turn.
Okay. Ooh,
So
I don't know. I mean, he's always going to be defending. Like he's always going to roll 5/5
that's what
and
I'm saying. You're always going to want the hold the power for like perfect block.
right. Right.
So if you're activating him towards the end, you have all this power kind of left over that you can try to regain with
6/6.
shield bounce and stuff of that nature. So having just one extra power to like reroll dice. Uh, Also, Shuri would help him out a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
Brandon, I think there's another character that's overlooked that might be really, really good with him in affiliation. Would you like to know my suggestion?
I'm ready.
Is it Deadpool?
No, it's Quicksilver.
Quicksilver.
I did
Mhm.
look at Quicksilver. I think his
Yeah,
affiliation. I think it allows you to play a lot of the lesser like Avengers that don't see a ton of play because a lot of them get a lot better if you can hit triggers
Luke Cage.
Yeah, being able to like get Sweet Christmas
Yeah.
and stuff like that. You can always kind of guarantee your triggers on other models as well. So like, I mean, I do. I think it does fit in. It'll be a fun way to play it to where you can kind of guarantee some of these other triggers. Even Scarlet Witch, you can switch one to a skull for Scarlet Witch to get her triggers, which is not something you can really do with any other character. But being able to
True.
guarantee like pierces, stuff like that. Also with empty the clip with War Machine, you could actually change one of your
Crits.
crits into like a wild or a hit to prevent taking damage in like those situations.
Would okay, here's a question. Would that work? Like, could you do that and still blow up the crit, but
Yes.
then
Yeah, your reroll
Wow.
comes at the end of everything.
and then the damage happens after the attack is resolved?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you roll
That's
your extra
awesome.
So you roll your extra dice, and you're like, if you say you only get one crit, it's like, cool, I don't want to take any damage, so you just switch it to a wild or a hit. Doesn't matter what you switch it to.
That's wild. Okay, that's cool.
Those were just some cool things that I thought of.
Yeah, a lot of intricate play.
I think it's one of those like it makes like Thor like you can like almost guarantee the throw on his strike
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So those were the cool things I really thought of. Even the original Wolverine, you can make sure you hit that wild.
This is all very good. This
Yeah.
is good stuff for this
It-
less than great affiliation.
Affiliation that's super deep, like it just allows like, and if you look at
I
like
didn't mean I mean a less than great affiliation bonus.
yeah, it's one of those things where like I think it benefits a lot by having such a deep affiliation,
Yeah,
and it does help characters that may not be helped out by the other affiliation leaderships as much.
right.
Besides the original Captain America, because like everyone's better with him.
I mean, yeah, they kind of are. Okay, well, the only thing that's left for this episode is for me to give a non sequitur recommendation, and mine is very simple. Go see Oppenheimer. It's really good. It's a really good movie. Very good.
What does that have to do with New Captain America?
New Captain America fought in World War II, and Oppenheimer occurs during World War II.
Wow, spoiler.
Yeah, ruined it for everybody, Fred. Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought it was like similar to Barbie. I'm still not convinced you didn't go see Barbie again.
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, that's what you caught me. That's what I did. I went and saw Barbie again.
What was better, Oppenheimer or Barbie?
Oh boy, talk about apples and oranges. I cannot think of two more different movies. I cannot think of two more different movies.
Barbie was
I mean,
better.
there's Cube and Cube 2 Hypercube. They're pretty different.
All right, everybody. I will see you all later. Goodbye.